Hi, I'm Dr. Jim, a space scientist and a musician. Welcome to Space Quest, where we use stories and songs to learn about space with some special visitors from the future. In this episode, let's think about how we would prepare to meet an alien race if we were to hear a message from them someday. Would we have to invent new technology to go and find them? Would we need to invent a way to travel through time since any signal would be very old? Who would be able to design, build, and fly spaceships to an alien world? Maybe we would need to recruit children with the right skills to see science in new and different ways to accomplish all of this. Do you think kids can go into space? Someday, there could be a girl named Laura and a boy named Tommy with their own spaceships and robot companions who come back from the future to learn how space exploration began. Here's a song about kids in space. Once we went into space to be part of a race so that people could walk on the moon. Many years have gone by, but again we will fly and return to the sky sometime soon. Can a girl fly through space to a planet? Could she pilot her spaceship and land it? Could she fly through the sky as the stars go by and bring home a space pomegranate? Many robots have flown to the greatest unknown and explored all the worlds of our sun. They have learned many things and gone through Saturn's rings, but there's so much that they haven't done. Can a boy fly through space in a rocket? Could he learn how to steer and to dock it? Could he fly through the sky as the stars go by and hold meteors in his pocket? You could learn to fly as the stars go by and reach for the endless sky. When the sun starts to sigh, many atoms will fly to be caught by the earth and remain. Glowing curtains of light will extend out of sight, painting colors that fall like the rain. Can the kids of the earth catch auroras? Could they have names like Tommy or Laura? Could they fly through the sky as the stars go by and hold northern lights in fedoras? You could learn to fly as the stars go by and reach for the endless sky. There's a world that's nearby with a red-colored sky and some others with ice all around. Some are big balls of gas where you'll never see grass since they don't really have any ground. Can the kids of the earth reach the heavens? Could they answer the biggest of questions? Could they fly through the sky as the stars go by and reach for new worlds as they beckon? Could they fly through the sky as the stars go by and reach for new worlds as they beckon? Let's see if we can learn anything more with our time-traveling friends from the future. Hi, Piper and Vista. It's always nice to see you two when you beam into the studio. How are you doing today?
Nice to see you as well, Dr. Jim. Things are going well for me and Tommy in the future, as he and Laura are traveling to another star. They are on a mission to find and communicate with an alien civilization.
Greetings, Dr. Jim. I am functioning properly, and Laura is successfully navigating the time ship in the future. She and Tommy are continuing on their long mission to search for an alien life at another star.
Oh yes, that's right. Tommy and Laura are making the trip to find the source of an alien message, sometime far in the future. I'd like to know more about how they created a ship to do this. It must have taken a lot of time and work to get everything ready.
Yes, it was a major project for the human race to support the mission to the alien star, since there was no known science to accomplish this at the time the message was received. Necessity became the mother of invention.
That's an old saying, Piper, but it's very appropriate in this case. If there was no known science to allow for travel to another star in the distant past, what did people do to create it?
To create the new technology, people realized that they would need a new and deeper understanding of science. One way to do that would be to start fresh with keen young minds to challenge the accepted scientific theories.
Like they say, young minds, fresh ideas.
That's a very interesting approach to advanced scientific understanding in general. Are you saying that Tommy and Laura were deliberately chosen to discover new scientific principles needed to reach another star at an earlier time in history?
Incoming time text from Tommy. Yes, Dr. Jim. When Dr. Hans von Bodenheimer of the Mars Museum discovered me as a young boy through the online test scores, he encouraged me to participate in various competitions in robotics and spacecraft design. Tommy over.
Thank you, Tommy. That explains a lot about how you got started in space exploration. Vista, can you ask Laura if she became a space explorer in the same way?
Incoming time text from Laura. Just like Tommy, I was also found by Dr. von Bodenheimer when I was very young. I competed in the same competitions as Tommy for robotics and spacecraft design, where we won in a tie every time. Laura over.
Where were these competitions held in robotics and spacecraft design? If Tommy is from Mars and Laura is from Venus, did they meet somewhere in between, such as on the Earth?
Once Laura met Tommy on Earth for the robotics competition, they became friends and colleagues. They participated in another competition to build the fastest spaceship and race through the solar system.
How fun to have a race through the planets and the asteroids. Was this spaceship competition also arranged by Dr. von Bodenheimer?
Yes, Dr. Jim. However, there was a special format for the race. Tommy and Laura had to choose whether to visit the planets in order from the sun or in order by their size. This required careful planning to find the shortest path either way.
I bet they did it in less than 12 parsecs.
I'm sure they did, Conductor Arthur. Since the planets are moving around the sun all the time, there would be any number of different ways to visit the planets, either by distance or size.
That is correct, Dr. Jim. Laura studied navigation at her parents' space station and programmed me to help with the calculations. Tommy programmed Piper to perform similar functions, which is how we became their companions for space exploration.
So it was because of spaceship competition that Tommy, Laura, Piper, and Vista became the team to reach another star. Were the spaceship designs a part of the competition as well?
For the competition, Tommy designed a new engine for his spaceship based on methane fuel. The new rocket engine provided extra thrust at key points in the race between the planets. He first developed this technology at his father's rocket fuel plant on Mars.
Very interesting, but it sounds like Laura must have designed something new for her spaceship as well. Did she make a new engine to go faster between the planets?
Laura created a new power source for her spaceship. She invented a compact generator based on nuclear fusion to produce electricity. This added much more power to the existing ion engines in her spaceship so that it could go much faster.
That sounds just like the rolling rocket. I love it when a plan comes together.
Yes, it's always nice to see people succeed with big advances in technology since they are so rare. But if I understand correctly, the rolling rocket can also travel through time. Did Tommy and Laura figure that part out for the spaceship competition as well?
No, it took them much longer to figure out how to travel through time. Since that would involve a lot of antimatter, it could be very dangerous as they did their experiments, Dr. Jim.
What you say is correct, Piper, and of course you are always very concerned about safety because of your programming as a rocket fuel plant inspector. However, Tommy and Laura were both very careful with their antimatter experiments for time travel.
Before Tommy and Laura went back in time, they went on a race in space. Let's hear about how they got their spaceships ready. Tommy modified his rocket to go really fast. He made a better engine using methane gas. If someone tries to catch him, they just watch him fly, cruising around the sun as the stars go by. Laura added extra power to her spaceship's tail. She built herself a motor that would never fail. Her ship could reach the planets in a single run. She could find her way cruising round the sun. Oh, the kids went on a race flying round the sun to visit all 8 planets, passing one by one. Each of them would go in a different way. Who would finish first in a power play? Oh, the kids went on a race in space. They did it at a rapid pace. The kids went on a race in space. Once their spaceships were ready, Tommy and Laura visited all the planets, each in their own way. Tommy started from the sun to visit Mercury, then Venus and the Earth, and on to Mars to see that Jupiter and Saturn had a lot of moons. Uranus was next, and at last Neptune. Laura started with the smallest and she found the rest. From Mercury to Mars and Venus, Earth was next. Neptune led to Uranus, they grew in size. Saturn then to Jupiter, the biggest prize. Oh, the kids went on a race flying round the sun to visit all 8 planets, passing one by one. Each of them would go in a different way. Who would finish first in a power play? Oh, the kids went on a race in space. They did it at a rapid pace. The kids went on a race in space.
Tommy chose to visit the planets in the order of distance from the sun from Mercury to Neptune, but the planets were on all sides, so he had to fly around the sun several times during that race.
Laura had to fly around the sun several times as well. However, she decided to visit the planets starting from the smallest, Mercury, to the largest, Jupiter.
Okay, now, let's hear how the race in space ended up. Tommy flew his rocket many times around the sun, and Laura did the same to get her mission done. And even though they did it in a different way, they got back to Earth on the same great day. The kids went on a race flying round the sun to visit all 8 planets, passing one by one. Each of them would go in a different way. Who would finish first in a power play? Oh, the kids went on a race in space. They did it at a rapid pace. The kids went on a race in space.
After all of that, the race ended in a tie between Tommy and Laura. It sounds like the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
Yes, that is correct, Conductor Arthur. Tommy and Laura became good friends and colleagues after they finished the race in space to visit the planets. They had each shown the ability to build a better spaceship and navigate efficiently through space.
Once they finished the race to the planets, they decided to combine all that they knew to begin work on the new spaceship that they could use to travel through both space and time.
Finally, we get to the part where Tommy and Laura use everything that they've learned from school, from competitions, and through experiments to prepare a new spaceship to reach another star.
The breakthrough was when they recognized the key to time travel is with antimatter, which naturally moves backward through time. Once they learned to turn their entire spaceship into antimatter and back into regular matter, they could travel anywhere in space and time.
Dr. Jim, if matter is the opposite of antimatter, do you think we could call it Uncle Matter? Ha 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 ha.
That does not compute, Piper.
Oh, not your humor programming again, Piper. Tommy really did quite a job with that.
To describe it as humor programming is quite generous, Dr. Jim.
Indeed it is, Vista. I think it's time for a song about how Tommy and Laura learned to fly their spaceships. Tommy took a look around at the sky and at the ground. He began to think about what he could see. Clouds float up, but rain falls down. Diamonds form beneath the ground. Many things exist because of gravity. Tommy's rocket was a blast. Laura's ship was very fast. And together they could go so very far. They combined all that they knew and they built a ship for two. And someday they might just reach another star. It turns out that gravity, which is the weakest of the known forces in nature, is the one that shapes the planets, the stars, and the galaxies because it works over such great distances. There really is gravity in space. Gravity is the reason the diamonds form in the Earth, it's the reason the clouds float up in the sky, and it's even the reason for the nuclear fusion that lights up the stars and powers the time ship.
Gravity isn't just a good idea, it's the law.
It appears that you have been programmed for humor as well, Conductor Arthur.
Of course, Conductor Arthur is referring to Newton's law of gravity. Let's hear some more about how Tommy and Laura learned to fly. There is science everywhere, on the land and in the air. Tommy learned to see the patterns, big and small. He designed fast planes and cars, but he looked up at the stars. He built rockets to explore and see them all. Tommy's rocket was a blast, Laura's ship was very fast, and together they could go so very far. They combined all that they knew and they built a ship for two, and someday they might just reach another star. Laura loved to watch planes fly as they streaked across the sky. She began to learn to take off and be free. She flew gliders, then fast jets, and took people and their pets to the edge of space to float in zero-G. Tommy's rocket was a blast, Laura's ship was very fast, and together they could go so very far. They combined all that they knew and they built a ship for two, and someday they might just reach another star. Who can say what they'll learn today to help them on their way?
Learning science is like its own chain reaction. One new idea can lead to another.
That's right, Piper. I'm sure that's how Tommy and Laura ended up reaching the alien star. fly in space. It became her favorite place. Tommy left the Earth behind to go explore. There was so much they could see in the realm of mystery. Many moons and planets led them to much more. Tommy's rocket was a blast, Laura's ship was very fast, and together they could go so very far. They combined all that they knew and they built a ship for two, and someday they might just reach another star. And someday they might just reach another star. And that's the story of how they built the time ship and learned how to fly it. I'm curious, though, to know some more of the details. However, where did the ideas come from to use antimatter for time travel, and how to navigate to another star by using the backward motion of the galaxy?
Tommy specialized in the study of quantum mechanics and learned that antimatter travels backward in time based on the teachings of Dr. Richard Feynman from long ago. However, it took a lot of new work and scientific insight for Tommy and Laura to develop the technique together to transform an entire spaceship into antimatter and back.
That is correct, Piper. In addition, Laura specialized in space navigation because of her experiences growing up on an astronomy space station near Venus. In order to navigate to another star through time travel, Laura had to consider the many different simultaneous motions of stars as they rotate with the Milky Way galaxy. Tommy and Laura worked together to program Piper and me to automate the spacecraft navigation through time.
That's a really impressive accomplishment, and I'm glad you can use the same techniques to come and visit me here in the studio. We've been talking about how and why Tommy and Laura learned enough about science and space navigation to invent their own special spaceship to reach another star with an alien civilization. It's intriguing to think that this could be one of the many possible futures for the human race.
Incoming time text from Tommy. We are still on our way to find the star system where the alien signal originated. Tommy, over.
Incoming time text from Laura. We are quite excited to see what we will find at the aliens' world. Perhaps if we are fortunate, we could build a relationship between the human race and a new race of aliens. Laura, over.
Perhaps we could teach a new world to sing in perfect harmony.
What a great idea, Conductor Arthur. It's really inspiring to think the people of Earth, acting as a single human race, would support a major project to reach an alien world someday. Many people have worked very hard to search for extraterrestrial intelligence, including one of the first scientists to start the project long ago, Dr. Carl Sagan. As of today, we have not received any proof that alien life exists, but the search will go on.
But the future is always changing, Dr. Jim, as history goes on. Many things are possible if people are careful as they make advances in space technology.
We are pleased to share this one possible future with you, Dr. Jim. Perhaps someday it will come to pass.
Thank you, Piper and Vista, for the wonderful stories. Thank you as well, Conductor Arthur, for all the interesting observations. Do you remember the question we were going to think about? The question was, how would we prepare to meet an alien race if we were to hear a message from them someday? Through Piper and Vista, Tommy and Laura told us about many different things that they learned and did to prepare for their trip to the alien star. They specialized in astronomy, quantum mechanics, and space navigation. Putting all this together allowed them to create a special spaceship for the two of them to travel through time and space to reach another star. I'd like to thank my friends Piper, Vista, and Conductor Arthur very much for joining me today on Space Quest, and you too. Remember, keep your eye on the sky and keep thinking for yourself.
Goodbye.